Most people think their small daily choices don't matter. But here's the shocking truth. One tiny habit, ignored every day, can quietly destroy your dreams, your money, and your future, without you even noticing. Imagine working hard, planning and hoping for success, only to watch it slip away because of something so small it felt harmless. James faced this reality himself, and one decision changed everything. Today you'll hear his story and discover the hidden danger almost everyone overlooks, and the simple action that saved his life from being wasted. James had always dreamed of living a life where money wasn't a constant worry, where he could focus on his passions, travel, and feel secure about the future. But reality was different. Every month, bills swallowed most of his paycheck. Small joys, dining out, buying gadgets, even treating himself, were out of reach because he felt trapped in the same cycle of barely making ends meet. He worked hard, sometimes late into the night, but no matter how much effort he put in, nothing seemed to change. His bank balance stayed low, opportunities passed by, and he felt an invisible weight pressing down on his shoulders. He knew something had to change, but fear and hesitation held him back. James had tried budgeting, small savings, even a few online courses, but none of it stuck. He would start with energy and motivation, only to slip back into old patterns. Self-doubt gnawed at him. Maybe he wasn't smart enough, maybe he didn't have the discipline, maybe he was just destined to live this way. Every failed attempt made him feel smaller, less capable, and the dream of financial freedom seemed more like a fantasy than a goal. One evening, exhausted and frustrated, James stumbled across an article about someone who had transformed their life through a single, deliberate choice. It wasn't a secret scheme or a shortcut. It was a small, intentional action, repeated consistently. That moment sparked something inside him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years: hope. Could one choice really make such a difference? He decided it was worth trying. The next morning, James made his first real step. He had a small amount of money saved for comfort spending, an impulse buy here, a fancy coffee there. Instead, he invested it in learning a skill that could increase his income and future opportunities. It wasn't easy. Fear whispered in his ear. What if this doesn't work? What if I waste my money? But he pushed through, reminding himself that staying stagnant had already cost him more than he realized. That small decision, investing in himself rather than fleeting comfort, was the first spark of transformation. At first, the results were subtle. James had to dedicate time daily to learn, practice, and resist old habits. Some days he felt like giving up. He would scroll aimlessly on his phone or binge-watch shows to escape stress, but each time he returned to his focus, he noticed progress. Small wins appeared: understanding concepts faster, completing tasks efficiently, and seeing practical ways to apply his new skill. Each step built confidence and momentum. He began to realize that the key to transformation wasn't luck or natural talent. It was consistent, intentional action. As weeks passed, the changes became undeniable. James' income started to grow through freelance work and new projects. His spending became intentional, his savings increased. More importantly, his mindset shifted. He no longer saw money as a source of anxiety. He saw it as a tool, a way to create opportunities, gain freedom, and shape his life. Confidence replaced fear and momentum replaced doubt. One simple decision had grown into a habit that reshaped every area of his life. But it wasn't just about money. James noticed a transformation in his habits and thinking. Early mornings became sacred. He planned his day, tackled high-priority tasks first, and refused to let distractions steal his focus. Even his relationships improved because he had the mental clarity and energy to invest in people and experiences. The single habit of deliberate, consistent action created ripple effects far beyond his financial life. Months later, James reflected on his journey. The difference wasn't the money itself. It was the confidence, discipline, and clarity he gained from taking control. Opportunities he never thought possible started appearing. Mentorship offers, collaborations, and even new career paths. He understood that financial freedom wasn't a result of luck or talent. It was a product of choices, consistently applied. Each small decision compounded over time, creating results that felt almost magical. but were entirely earned. James's story also revealed a truth that most people overlook. Fear of failure or comfort often stops action long before it starts. Waiting for perfect conditions is an illusion. Progress begins the moment you act. That one decision, to invest in himself, to take control, to break the cycle, transformed not just his finances, but his mindset, habits, and entire future. What once felt impossible now seemed inevitable. He had unlocked a principle that anyone could apply. Consistent, intentional action compounds into extraordinary results. By the end of the year, James could hardly recognize his life. He had a growing savings account, multiple income streams, and the mental clarity to plan for the future confidently. More importantly, he had learned something far more valuable than money: the power to choose, act, and change his own destiny. Each decision, no matter how small, was a brick building the life he always wanted. He realized that the moment he took control was the moment his life truly began to change. Looking back, James understood that transformation rarely comes from one massive effort. It comes from small, deliberate steps, repeated daily, and fueled by courage and consistency. The single choice that started his journey didn't just open financial doors. It opened the door to confidence, freedom, and self-belief. He had faced fear, doubt, and comfort, and by acting despite them, he had created a life most people only dream of. His journey proved that the power to change your life is in your hands, waiting for one decision to set it in motion. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. James discovered that every great change begins with one small, deliberate choice. That choice ignited momentum, reshaped habits, and created opportunities he never imagined. Life rewards action, not waiting. Every step you take today builds the foundation for the future you deserve. Courage, focus, and consistency are the keys. Start now, take control, and trust the process. Your life can change quietly, steadily, and powerfully. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe to see more stories that motivate, guide, and empower real transformation.